And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle.
What's up, guys?
Hey there.
You guys are quiet. You don't have to be so quiet.
Well, you said what's up.
Yeah, you guys could be loud.
You don't have, and we got to remember because that's the camera, not this one. So we can actually put this down so it's not distracting. You know?
If you close that, what if it's
Yeah, it's going to shut that down. Yeah. So true. We should
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
We're over here getting stoned anyway off of Matt's deodorant. He says he's deodorant. Yeah, deodorant. He says, "Oh my gosh, it's Old Spice hemp." Yeah, you got stoned is what it is. So, gosh, yeah. So it's got. Can you get more? I mean, you're not even bald, dude. No. But look at it. I mean, this
I gotta shave my head tonight, though. It's already too long.
The hair deficiency on this side is like. So, kids, if you want to keep your hair, don't get into detailing, okay? Because the shit's gonna fall out. So, good morning. Wow, I don't think we've ever had this many brand reps on a podcast before, and so this is going to be kind of fun because we're talking about we're just going to talk, and so we're talking about today is unity is strength, collaboration is power. So we always talk about collaboration. It happens at the top, and so this is an example of it. Detailers. The reason I'm looking out here is we've got a class in right now. You're going to meet them in a second. And so just remember that. So we're going to just kind of ask some questions. We're going to have our guest up here introduce themselves. We're going to go ahead and bring we should probably they're more important than us.
Yeah.
We should probably bring you guys up and just you'll all pile in here like we are. Just all of you kind of get in here. Carlos, you're cute, so you can get right in front of here and they can all kind of pile around you. Hands to yourself. Okay. Hands to yourself. All right. Come on up. Introduce yourself. Just get up there as a group. Come on. Move like you mean it. Come on, you got to get up there, cutie.
Students and interns, let's go.
All right, so close it in so they can see you and go ahead and introduce yourself. Chris, we'll start with you.
What's up, guys? Chris Williams, East Coast Customer Detailing out of Aiken, South Carolina.
And you don't have to move in front of each other. They can see you right where you're at. So Chris just want to limelight it. It's okay.
Hey, guys, Chevy Wiley out of Atlanta, Georgia, AM, PM Auto Spa. You guys, Dave Parker out of Fort Myers, Florida, and Automates.
Man, that was a great adjustment real quick because I keep looking at that too. As soon as he did that, man, your head came out.
Vegas Martinez out of Beaufort, Georgia, Clean Stance Detailing.
Hi, guys. My name is Henry. I'm from New York, Pro Detailing, to learn here.
Cool.
Carlos Cadillo out of Riverside, Detail Mafia, junior intern.
Cool. Right on. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, so the offer's 2.9. We're getting closer. Getting closer. Any closer? So, geez. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and introduce this group right here. I got to keep looking up here because I keep looking at Chris. I've got to get it. Can somebody grab me a freaking microfiber towel? Yeah, there we go. There we go. We blocked it. Thank you. And so it is distracting. God, you can tell ADD and a half, right? And so, let's introduce Matt. We'll start with you.
Matthew Denny with Dynabray Tools out of Clarence, New York. I cover Southern California territory, all of North America and Canada. If it's including North America, isn't it? I think I take.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, you covered it. You got it. Yep. There we go.
Travel.
Dan Burros with Stinger Chemical. Company's based out of Houston. I'm out of Colorado. I'm the division director, which is a fancy title for I try to sell a bunch of chemicals. So that's me.
Oscar Hernandez, Buffershine Manufacturing out of Ventura, California.
What else do you do?
Travel.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Detail mafia coordinator.
What else do you do?
Still run my shop.
Yeah. Hey, how's your lady friend doing?
Good.
She's doing?
Oh, yeah.
She's probably good. Yeah. Hi, lady friend.
His cousin?
Oh, yeah. Don't go there. We won't go there. Yeah. Jesus, Chris. God damn. So, this is we got our 5-day class in. We had we were over in Hawaii and we put on, I've been wanting to do this since about 2017 or 18. We had a huge group. We got to see stores. We got to see detailers. We had some fun. We went on our oldest daughter, Diana's oldest daughter, took us. She's a pilot. So she took us for a tour of the big island in the helicopter. And it was big. I mean, we were down at the beach pretty much Yeah, I think you hit every morning, didn't you? I missed one morning.
Yeah.
I missed one morning. I went down one night. It was incredible. We're going to talk about giving back and all these brands up here. And there's so many great brands in the industry that most of them give back, right? And so it was incredible, wasn't it? It was incredible.
I want to go back.
Yeah. Well, we are October.
Yeah.
We're going to put a one-day extreme on over in Honolulu, so on Oahu, and more information on that here pretty soon. So if you're on vacation or you want to go on a cool vacation, we'll probably do a one day and then maybe another morning kind of open house at one of the stores there. And it was just the Hawaiian detailers are incredible. They treated us fantastic. Yeah. And man, Alex, Mafia. Alex got an amazing shop right there in downtown Honolulu. And he just killed it. He's the one that made it happen, really. I mean, and this is a detailer, and he's a special guy. And Alex, if you're watching, thank you so much. You represent not just the Mafia and not just all the different brands, but the industry with integrity. And again, unity is strength, collaboration is power. And so Alex really got that. He brought all these competitive detailers in his shop and, shut down for the day, and he's got a really progressive shop. So it was thousands of dollars. I don't know how many Mercedes does he have. We had one of them. 3. Yeah, 3 Mercedes or something like that. And
the Hummer.
Yeah, the Hummer. And so we were right. So he's like, well, this is just my daily driver, and that one's my weekend car. And we're like, okay, yeah, cool, right on. Hey, he's doing it though. He's doing it. So, boy, last 5 years. I mean, how long have you been in the industry now?
A little over 6.
A little over 6. Oh God, never mind. These two were there during. yeah, exactly. The Revolutionary period. I was there. We actually got. We prepped and detailed George Washington's. When he was inaugurated into office. So.
Do you remember we were using? We didn't have power.
We
had to do everything by hand.
You
guys were lucky. It was
like
power and buffers.
It was. And horsepower was just. Okay, touch the horse and move the wagon forward,
Do you remember cornstarch and cheesecloth?
There you go. Yeah, man, that's still live.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of you guys.
No, you guys. Do you guys? Is anybody listening? This will be. We're not even gonna say. That rocks, man. Okay. Anybody? I will send somebody. The first person, I'll send you something cool if you know what that combination. Say it again.
Cornstarch and cheesecloth.
If you know what that was used for, at least the way I'm thinking of it, and I think there's really only one way. Do you know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. If anybody does, the first person I'm gonna send you something cool. You have any idea? No. It's pretty. We'll share it at the end. So we're gonna give a little reward out if anybody gets it, and if not, we'll turn it over here and we'll give that award here. So the industry's changed a lot, especially in the last 5 years. What we'll start with Matt. What have you seen in the last 5 years that impresses you?
What I like actually seeing is everybody coming together, working together as an industry and supporting new people coming into the industry about getting them educated.
I like that.
It's really, really supportive. We can only be, like you said, stronger through numbers.
Yep.
But by supporting one another, especially when questions are out there, because some of us, we got some questions that may come across as to some other people dumb question, but you know what? It's not a dumb question at that time.
Mm-mm.
And that's what's nice about the Detail Mafia. I like dealing with is the guys make us feel welcome that can be able to ask any question if we need to.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of biased because you are Mafia too.
Yeah.
Double roll. So, Dan?
I'm not biased, but I'll say this is the first time I've been here. This is awesome. So thank you for inviting me.
I love it. This week we love to have everybody here. We're testing out your products. We're going to have the guys are going to hear about the products as soon as the podcast is done.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I might be bringing them into the training. Some of them. It's just we're Switzerland, and we like to be Switzerland, and we like to help everybody, and everybody helps us. The industry, I agree.
Yeah, we're stronger. Yeah, we're stronger together.
Yep.
And one of the things that I have the fortune of traveling all over the world, seeing recon shops, detail centers, ceramic shops, auctions, dealerships, working with people that are way smarter than I am, way more experienced than I am. And I've got 26 years into this. But, when you have a network of people and when you work with other manufacturers, you get an opportunity to really hone in on what people are looking to do. And in 5 years, things change. Every year the cars change. Every year the paint changes. So it's really information like that when you have a network and you have people like this or this guy who's still running a detail shop, even though he's got 13 other jobs, that's valuable information. Or you have a tool manufacturer that understands how tools work. Those are huge things, and that collaboration is definitely powerful. So I enjoy the industry. 26 years ago, there were training classes out there, but they kind of faded away a little bit for a certain amount of time. And that's where I learned everything. I worked with a number of different manufacturers that gave me what I needed to go out there. So it's awesome now to see what, Renny's doing, what the training centers are doing, what our training center is doing. Very proud to be in the industry that's supporting the detailers better than we ever have. So it's changed a lot. But we're kind of going back to where I think things started out with, which manufacturers really cared, trainers really cared, and now we're back.
Great point is that you go back to the 60s and 70s, and it was a brand new industry. And kind of with some of the inventions that are out there, we're kind of a brand new industry again. I mean, the tooling, the products, the chemistry in the tooling, the foam, all these different things. It's not even from 5 years ago, but from 15 years ago, not even close. Doesn't even resemble it. Now the top segment, I'd say that for the top 50%, that's probably true. But there's a whole lot of people that they're still back in those times, and so consumer beware. I mean, I hate to say it, right? Because it is not everybody. If people aren't buying into education and they're not going to events, they're stuck back in those times.
I love walking up to a detail shop and I could tell you how the person's doing the job and how old they are by hearing a rotary buffer at 6,000 RPMs. And I don't even have to get in the door and go, okay, I'm going to be dealing with the guy who's been doing the same way for 20 years. There's better technology, better processes and procedures now. So it's fun to bring that into the industry.
That's great.
I mean, if you think about it, Renny, even the automotive industry is continuously changing on the coatings. Just on the paint goods.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to adjust to that with different technologies constantly. We're dealing with less and less paint every day.
And, being part of the ATG group, the one nice thing about that is they've got a company that they just bought along with us in 3D, and they're doing a couple other things. But RBL goes into, that's their plastic product over there. They're on the floors of the manufacturers every day. And so the information we get from these guys, we're sitting there and I'm going, so we got a big change coming in clear coats right now. It's happening. So the next model year 25s are going to be a lot of the manufacturers. 26, it's rolling into it. And so now we're starting to get intel we never used to get because we just didn't have those connections to the manufacturer. So Oscar, this is cool because you went from a nice lifestyle and living a good life up in Northern California to you're drinking from a fire hose. So what do you see? And it's really especially, you could probably even say you've seen a difference in the last year or two.
Yeah, it's constantly changing. The last year I've been doing a lot of traveling with Buff and Shine, and I see it from when I first started traveling and seeing the storefronts, and that's what we're doing now is in SoCal, taking down around to the storefronts. I see the difference, quarterly, how everyone is changing and adjusting.
Right.
Just the way they run the storefront side of the detailing business. Yeah. It's more attractive. It used to just be come in, get stuff on the shelf, and we were at one yesterday, and they had all the fancy lights, the race decks. They're going all out on these storefronts now.
Yeah.
And the detailers, on the other hand, going all out on their mobile rigs. That's a big thing.
Oh,
Setting that mobile rig, 6 years ago, it was just a van with a water tank, a pressure washer, and now it's like
you open the van doors and everything fell out on the ground.
Oh yeah. And they picked it up, reused it.
Right. And now it's everything that from the door, everything is just modern.
It is.
Everything is changing.
It's to your guys' credit, coming to a 5-day like this, the investment in yourselves, in your business, in your future, that's changed, and you guys are literally a percentage of a 1% group, that's invested this much, not just in money, but it's time getting here. And then you guys are not, we don't watch the clock. We had a power outage. We worked right through the power outage. We never missed a beat, right? We're not going to sit down and wait. And today you guys are going to be, today's mind blowing. Today, the rest of the three, all of it's mind blowing, but you're the future now. I mean, you really are. You look at yourself. You're the future now. And then I always remind people of this: is as progressive as we're getting, we're all new at once. You know, all of us were new at once, and we forget that when the new people come behind us, and we get grumpy and we get tired because they're asking the same dumb questions and this and that. But I was there. I still am. And so, you know, we're talking about, you know, I really encourage people to always take up a new hobby, something that you don't know anything about. Keep yourself humble. You know, go to learn something new, especially as you age and get older. Is that it's not easy, you know, learning something new. So, you know, this guy talk about, you know, you don't have to say a lot, but you decided, hey, I'm so active in sales. You're going through a pretty expensive course right now, and it's pretty intense. And just to further your career and your knowledge and your abilities.
Yeah, I picked up on top of the 13 things I got as a full-time student up until the end of this year, you know, just to better myself in sales. I felt like I needed it. I was doing sales at the shop, but it's a little bit different when you're dealing with manufacturers, storefronts, distributors. So I wanted to get better at that. So I taken on a full course to get better at that.
So let's talk for a second. Let's segue off of this one. I think it's down lower, and we'll. So with all this change, are some maybe theories or misguided theories. Is that it seems like we're talking about this. We get it all the time in the brands. Is detailers get into detailing and quickly they don't want to be detailers anymore. Is that they want to be brand reps or they want to be sponsored. And the reality is, I mean, yeah. So let's talk for a second. If you want to go to work, I mean, owning a business is difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's talk about being a brand rep and what these guys, and we'll just go through each one of them on their own way of what the average week looks like, and then what a hectic week looks like. So, Oscar, we'll start with you, and we'll work this way this time.
What a hectic week looks like. I mean, I've done, I think, a total of 16 straight days travel across the country, one-stop flights. That was pretty hectic for me. And that was right before Mobile Tech. Mobile Tech was my last stop. But I was, you know, going state to state, event from event, living out of a suitcase in a hotel. It gets tiring. You get, you know, I'm right behind his footsteps because I don't travel as much as he does, but I'm right there, right next to him. Where it comes down to, it gets really hectic being a brand rep. And a lot of people think, well, you know, your face is on a flyer, you're going to do this, but it's all work. I mean, last 2 days, how many miles have we covered?
You're in California. I have no idea. I just sit in the
so
passenger side. He drives.
He has no.
I just look around.
He has no idea we're in California. That's why did you pick up on Northern California?
I know.
When he slams on the brakes, I just keep looking at my phone, like whatever's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to die.
So even here in Southern California, going from one store to another, I mean, we sit 2 hours in traffic just to get from one to the other. I mean, that can get hectic. It's stressful while we're still working on 2 cell phones. Yeah, he's just as guilty as I am, but pulling out 2 phones and a laptop, and it's like every little chance we get, we have to stay on top of it.
Yep.
So it's not, you know, this glorified, I get to be at a booth. I'm cool. It's work. It's work.
What's it do to your body and what's it do to your mind? And it's not real good for relationships, you know? I mean, thank God you just have a cousin that understands things, right? That could, you know.
I didn't know that about you.
No.
He's gonna kill us, man.
Gonna start a whole
yeah, he's gonna kill us. Yeah, I'm blaming it on Chris. Chris, it's your fault, you know.
They look similar.
Hey. I asked who it was. I was told a cousin.
The body, it's tiring. I mean, I came back from Hawaii and slept a whole day. Like I literally slept 15 hours.
Yeah.
I landed at 8. I knocked out. It's tiring being out there in Hawaii. Yeah, we were going, but
oh man, dude,
100 miles an hour. I mean, we got up one day at 5, ended at the airport by 7, fly to the Big Island, and whole day in the Big Island, fly back at 9.
We made it to where it was like a 50-50 play business, but those were 18-hour days to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because you're at a cool spot. So yeah, you're working 10 hours, but you're playing for 8 or 9 hours, right? Why wouldn't you? You're somewhere really cool. The only time he'd seen it was from a window inside of a fucking Navy ship, excuse me. You know, so as a Marine going over there, so you know, he's looking at probably a fucking peephole, you know, to see the islands, you know. So Dan, we talked about your schedule a little bit, and you know Bob Phillips. So we're, you know, we merged with the company, right? And Bob and Dave, Bob and I, for the first 4 years we started up Double Black, I said, hey Bob, we're gonna screw up our lives. You got me for 4 years to really just turn my life upside down. I told my kids, my family, my friends, Mafia, everybody, listen, I'm going to be busy, you know, for 4 years. it went a little bit past that. And when I say busy, so Bob right now selling the company has had to go back to that. All of us did.
Yeah.
But Bob went to a new level, and it was probably to the level that you spoke about. So about what's your schedule like?
So last year it was 267 nights out. It was, 4 to 6 nights maybe at home on a month. But I'll tell you that I love it. I mean, I love the company. I love the industry. I've been in it for 26 years. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't have been in it for 26 years. But that schedule of traveling, I was in Puerto Rico last week with NSR Distributing, and I was in Connecticut the week before that doing trainings. Next week I'll be in Houston. We're doing our training classes there. Luckily, I have a good support staff because I have a great team. I have trainers that take that stuff over for me, and I can do. But we do product testing, we do all these things, so there really is no downtime. I was up at 5:45 this morning sending off emails because the rest of the world woke up 3 hours ago. In the US, or 12 hours ago in Vietnam, or Pakistan. So it's rough, but I'll tell you what, people always ask me, they're like, what's your favorite place in the whole world that you see? And I'm like, Fort Collins, Colorado, where I live. And I just rent a space there to store all my goods, but I don't actually live there more or less. My daughter loves it. She lives there. She's going to watch this and she's going to catch that one for sure. She's going to say, Dad, why'd you bring me up in these things? It's because I love it. All my 5 daughters.
Well, if you're going to throw your daughter, one of yours in, I'll just say, Darren, I mean, you live here too, right? I mean, at home. So
yeah,
it's one of her favorite places. But I think when difference is I think she's glad when I'm gone a little bit. She can screw around, right? So, and so how many countries have you kept track?
So countries I have not. I've been in just a few. We're expanding back out. So COVID really kind of killed. We had a lot of international business. We started out as an international company. Actually, that was how we started in 1988. So the founders of the company, who still are the company owners at this point, did that and then moved into the US. So we were kind of reverse of a lot of other companies starting here and then going out. So our international business, when COVID came along, really kind of killed it. A lot of our distributors either went out of business or had to find something different to do.
Tough.
Yeah, it was really tough, and tougher even there than in the US. So we're building that business back up. So, we brought in Vietnam, Honduras, Pakistan, a lot of these different countries that are really very cool that I'm looking forward to going to. And I have a team of people now that are handling the US. If you guys watch any of our social media or check it out, you see Zach, you see Connor, you see Bruno, and Oscar's met all these guys. They're top notch, and they take a lot of that weight off my shoulders. So my plan is really just vacation for the whole rest of my career. Just travel around all these countries and just do these vacations, do like a 15-minute visit with a guy, and then just go check everything else out. Pretty sure my boss ain't going to like that very much, but I won't tell him.
Right. Yeah, see? Okay.
We're not live or anything,
Man,
But you know what it is? Like Diane was able to make the trip to Hawaii. And I'll tell you, for me, I'm kind of done with travel. I don't want to take my overland rig and see a lot of backcountry mountain and, maybe down into Baja, Mexico and stuff like that. But having her there really kind of changed my attitude a little bit. Is that I really enjoyed the trip. It was a fast pace. I mean, fast. But I love the islands. I love the people of the islands. I've got a long connection with it. And so it was magical that way. So that's a lot. Wow. Okay. Let's see can you beat any of those? I think you two are probably pretty.
No, you guys got me beat on the amount of travel you do.
You think so?
I think I do.
I don't know. Last year,
you were.
I don't know.
You drive everywhere. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. No, my one incident I remember it was right after when things start opening up, and that's when I actually had to get into Canada, and that was British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada area, and I could not get through customs.
Really?
Whatever it was, I could not figure out their forms. It was on phone. I felt sorry for the custom agent. He was so tired of being nice to me, and literally I was in the custom arena probably for a good 2 hours.
Wow.
At the point where he just said, just go, just go on in. It didn't stop then. Then I had to ship all these tools there from New York up to Vancouver, go get to talk to the guy, and he only has like one box. And this big box is supposed to be like 90 pounds. Is nowhere to be found. All these tools I got to have for a show. It's raining. I'm fully dressed in black. It's midnight. I got a beanie cap on, everything else. And he tells me he thinks it has all the other house. So I said, okay, I'll go check it out. Well, I go to the house and it's all these homes. They're all nicely there. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's probably in the backyard. So I had to go at 12 midnight, sneak, and it's raining, looking like a burglar suspect.
Oh God!
Thinking that the entire time I was going to get shot. Luckily, it's Canada. I guess they don't allow them to carry guns, so I was protected there. But it could have been hit over with a baseball bat. But it literally went in the backyard, down the stairs, and there was the box in the rain. Pick it up and go walking out, looking like basically a burglar coming out of a home, and then go right from a show. Work that show and then fly immediately all the way across the country and go to Florida and work another show for another 4 days.
Trade shows are a whole nother.
Yeah,
that's another one,
and it wears you out no matter what.
Like,
I mean,
SEMA, everybody SEMA, it's got to be a blast.
Yeah,
and I remember my first time going to SEMA, my first like 2 or 3 times of working it, and I was like, so cool. But let me tell you what happens at SEMA. This is a reality. And I think anybody that's a veteran of SEMA will agree. There's so many people, and you're connected with so many people. And your mental ability just decreases. The first day, you're like, "Hey, man, how you doing? Yeah, where are you at? Where are you out of? Yeah, what do you want to know about the products?" By the last day, you're saying, "Here's a brochure, tells you everything you need. Have a good day."
Here's my card.
Totally changes because you're just worn out,
and your voice is gone.
And your voice is gone.
By the second day, it's
and then you got a 50-50 chance you're going to walk away with SEMA flu.
Yeah.
And so that's where COVID started. I think in America. I'm dead serious.
Easily.
Man, so many of us came down with
if
COVID.
You look at the timing.
I had it so bad it was not even funny. I mean, I got home and we didn't know what it was, but I'm sure that was the launch point.
You shake thousands of hands.
Oh, thousands.
Literally. It's like the biggest germ transfer in the history of mankind.
And I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, so it's people come up and if I'm demoing tools, I always keep gloves on because that way I don't want to not shake hands with people, but I am a little bit freaky about that. It's like people tap phones that you change information. You ain't touching my phone. I mean, that's just not. Bob always. I have printed airline tickets, and Bob's like, "Why don't you use electronic myself? I'm not sitting my phone down on that thing. There is no way. 133 people just put their no way. I don't know what they've done. I'm not touching my phone on that thing. I got a piece of paper I can toss, and I'm done." So.
People love to say to me, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to go to SEMA." And I go, "Well, let's put that into perspective.
Right.
When you go to SEMA, you get to see all the cars and all the cool stuff. I go to SEMA, get up at 6:30 in the morning. I'm at the booth at 8 o'clock, get done at 5:30. Then you go entertain customers, which don't get me wrong. I love going to SEMA. I love seeing the customers. I love seeing the industry. Folks.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one of the great things about SEMA.
It is
to see everybody.
It's a great week, but it's a hard week.
It is. It's a tough one.
It's a hard week. I mean, now you're finding how many SEMAs have you worked now?
Just one, just this year.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's like a virgin.
Was it? I know you're.
I was stuck in between both of you. Don't you remember?
Yeah. You're a man on the. You're a man on the move.
Yeah.
You're a man on the move, man.
Yeah, it was.
This dude at SEMA just he kicks it out of the ballpark, And let's talk about that for a second. So Dynabraids, we have our new tool together. That tool would not have happened if it wasn't for him. He made it happen. We met through my wife and you guys. Your darling better
my
half.
significant other, man. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for her, she's been my guiding light.
Yep. And so they met at my wife. My wife likes to work Oktoberfest because she's like German heritage, right? And if I go in there, there's a few years I was banned because there's so many drunks. I just can't stand it, Well, she's there. She's working it. They all meet. And then a few months later, we meet down at detailing.com's 10th anniversary, and we just became colleagues. Then we became friends. And then I was with Flex at the time and was trying to talk Flex into doing a brand new tool. And they were kind of going through some shifts and changes with ownership and stuff like that. Couldn't get their attention. And so, Chris has helped me design the tool. We basically had pretty much the general layout.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it to Matt and I said, between you and me, this is what we're doing on this tool. What do you think? And he's like, "Oh man, I like that." So he starts bending the design a little bit. Then he takes it to his team and the rest is history. And now this guy's like, I think he's sold more of the tools than anybody in the world. Right? I mean, just it's unreal. And by the way, we're going to have those back out. We did a light release just to work through the bugs, new tool, brand new tool from the ground up. You're going to have to do some adjustments, right? So stand by. We're doing some advanced testing on the changes we made, so that's going to be available in stores here soon. So,
well, and people who don't know Dynabrade, you guys have been in business for how many years?
55 plus years.
55 plus years. So
Big
it's not
company.
like they're new to the industry.
No.
They're not new to the tool market at all.
No.
I knew
Yeah,
Chip
thank
Case
you.
back in the day when Chip was, great guy, great company, top-notch tools. So 55 years, you're not dealing with a new company. It's just a new tool by a very experienced tool manufacturer.
So Chip Case, probably the smartest man I've ever met.
Yep. I would agree.
Guy's just an incredible guy. You guys might not know who he is, but he is the man behind Dynabrade for a long time. And then he's the one that really made Rupus pop here in North America.
Yep. I was at a trade. Well, I was actually sitting outside of a trade show at a bar, and there's a guy with a Dynabrade tag on, and I turn around and I said, "Oh, you're Dynabrade." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "You know Chip Case?" "Oh man, yep. He's the guy who hired me 30 years ago." And I'm like, the history of that guy in the industry is pretty amazing.
Well, and the whole dynamics of Dynabrade, it's like I told you this year at SEMA's that, you came in and I think that you turned Stinger around. I really do. I really do. I think that Stinger's has been around a long time. They've done a great job, but I think you took it to a whole nother level. It's just a whole nother level. And I think it's an imprint that will last the rest of the company's life, even after you're, gone.
Is that retirement? That won't happen.
Yeah.
3 wives, 5 kids. No. Not 3 wives.
Okay. So here's, I was like, wow, so how's Southeast Utah?
Might want to relocate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll say thank you for that, but I have a team. I mean, I have owners that let me do what I wanted to do. And our detail division had kind of been, it was there, it was growing, but they let me accelerate and hire people in. And the team I have, the marketing department, the training department, all those guys are amazing at what they do. So it's nice to hear that. And I think I maybe pushed the rock a little bit starting down the hill, and then everybody just took it and ran with it. So I'm very fortunate that I have the job I have. Now, talking about working for manufacturers and traveling, it's not always easy. We were talking about it, getting a customer sometimes takes years and years and years of pounding your head against a wall. But I've been fortunate. They've given me the opportunity. I love it. When we talked at SEMA, you're right. You said, hey, I'm seeing this change.
That's unreal.
And I'm like, you know what? That makes me proud and happy.
Should,
but makes me happy and proud.
If you write his checks, you need to give him a little bit of a bump, because this guy changed it. Seriously, he changed it. I'm just going to say it as it is, man. And I think it was the same with is you give credit to your team. Is when we came into PNS, as I told Bob. Matter of fact, I told Bob, hey man, I'm going to give you hard 4 years. I'm going to go back to the grind like I've never did before, and I did. But I said, here's my goal for Double Black. He goes, that's cute. That's cute. We did it in year 4.
Yeah.
We did it in year 4.
It's magic. That year 4 really is magic.
Man,
I'll tell you.
Well, okay, good point. Even in detailing businesses, if you're grinding, and we're hard work, this is where it gets, you got to do, and man, this dude, Oscar's all about this. It's got to be smart work, not hard work. Is that, what's the difference? Is a future successful entrepreneur is going to know what we talk about, the pyramid of importance, right? Is that if you base it off of that, just that pyramid of importance, is what is it? You guys tell me what it is. What's at the base? Marketing. What's next up from there? What's that? Relationships. And then what's at the top? You. And so if you look at those things and you keep that centered, that year 4 is going to be dynamic. Dynamic things are going to be happening. If all you're doing is being a detailer, it's going to probably take you maybe to year 10 to see the rewards of somebody that is being dynamic with that pyramid of reality, that baseline that we talk about. And that's even if you're because basically all of you are entrepreneurs. Yeah. Is your entrepreneurs inside of an organization.
Yep. And that's, having trainers and manufacturers, we can't teach work ethic. We can't teach hard work. No. We can't teach persistence. We can't teach those things. We can give you product knowledge. We can give you comfort in your job, process, procedure that you can maybe help flow your business. But that hard work, that persistence, the guy that wants to work from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon and then golf or do whatever he does or fish like we do. I noticed he has a fly rod rack on his car, so now we got to talk about that. So,
the guy's got a tattoo of a trout on his arm.
He does.
Yeah. He's into it.
All right.
Which I really
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, right. You guys would be like brothers, you know.
We already look like brothers.
You guys, never mind. I was going to say something. So what you should do is you got to have the opposite arm, you know. Never mind. Spawning season.
But yeah, those are things you can't, you know, those are things you can talk about, but you can't teach those to somebody because your mindset is what you're going to do.
Persistence. Hey, what's your new tattoo say? Let's see it. Okay, right there. You got to see it pointed out. So if you can see it.
Relentless as fuck. Okay. You've got to be. I mean, it's here. I'm to a lot of people, you know, you guys, again, I keep picking on you guys because you're just young, right? But to you, I'm older than, and I am, you know, I am. But believe it or not, it's going to happen really quick. The age comes on really quick. But you know what? Just because you're young doesn't mean you're stupid. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. You can be brilliant and young. And it's just because you're old doesn't mean that you're stupid or you're done. It just means, matter of fact, most young people don't realize this. Your prime, oh man, I had Carol Shelby. Look at the hair on my arm, just stood straight up. Carol Shelby, behind the AC Cobra, Shelby Motor Cars, everything, told me this one time. In your 30s, 20s and 30s, you're dumb as, I'll say it, fuck, okay? And in your 40s, you're starting to figure it out. In your 50s, you're starting to make money at knowing what you do and knowing what you know. Yep. In your 60s, you should be rolling it. At 70, you want to go back to 40 and do it again. And guess what? How many times did he do that? A lot. The dude had a second heart. I mean, he wore one out by the time he was like 35, you know, seriously. And so if you look at that, is that older people, we need youth. You're not young, you're youthful. And I'm not old, I'm wise. Sometimes not. You know, and sometimes you're young and stupid, right? Sometimes I'm old and dumb. It happens. But I can't get the energy unless I'm around youthful people. You guys feed me. You can't get to my position unless you have my wisdom. We need each other. So if you're young and making fun of old people, and you call, but first off, do you know what my Italian grandma would have done if I ever called somebody old? I would have gotten beat for 4 days. And she wasn't old when she taught me that. She was my age, but she said, you don't ever, and I never did it. But she heard somebody do it, and she goes, you ever do that, I will beat your ass from here to tomorrow. From here to tomorrow. And she goes, that is disrespectful. And I always remembered that, and I've always stuck with it. And just like a person that's older disrespecting a young person and saying this, listen, all the generations are hunked up right now. It's not just yours. It's everybody. Yours got maybe a little more higher percentage, you know, of kind of, you know.
But you'll figure it out.
But you'll figure it out. But you know what? That's great because the more screwed up your generation is, the more that you're going to stand out. And that's what people in each generation don't understand, is that you're going to stand out. If everybody's screwed up, good. You're not.
Yep. I learned something. You want to remotivate yourself, hire a young person because that fires you up. You know, I'll tell you, 40, it was harder to get out of bed. 50, it was a lot harder to get out of bed. The body wears out, but the mind never does, or at least as long as you keep it sharp. But you guys got that fire and that energy now.
I got something I can give you that all goes away. I started on new hormones about 9 weeks ago. Woo! Wow,
is that why he picked up his cousin?
I thought that's why you were trying at the TV show.
Yeah.
Oscar, by the way, Oscar's driving, so I'm going to get left in.
Yeah, you are. It's okay. You know, we do have a stray mountain lion going around that's injured. It's getting kind of skinny, so just warning you. You know,
but that youth is great, man. I mean, that's, you know, open up that mind. The first thing I tell people when we do trainings is open your mind up. You know, you may have a set way of doing something, and you may think it's the best way to do it, but when you come here or you go to our training center, you're making an investment in your time. I mean, this was not free. This is a lot of time away from your business, but what you walk away from here should make your business better, and that's important. But youth, I'll tell you, I got Connor, Zach, and Bruno that are my trainers, and every time I watch them train, one, I'm proud of them. Two, I look at that youthful energy, and I've got it in my head I do it a certain way, and they do it a little differently. They're better than I am. I've been doing this for a long, long time. But these guys with that youth and that fire, they're better than I am actually at it. And I give them credit for that, and I love it. But they jump out of bed in the morning. I roll out of bed, creak some knee. You ever see the movie Up? That's me. I'm the guy getting out of bed in the morning. It's bad.
So we example of that is we did a Spanish-speaking one-day extreme. So we did it down in towards Pomona, California, just down the hill here in Southern California, suburb of LA. And we get out there and we're doing our kind of ramp up. Chris is there and Oscar's there. And Oscar looks at me and goes, okay, how can I help you? I said, no, dude. How can I help you? You're doing this. I don't know Spanish, man. And he ran with it. And he's like, I thought he understood the whole time. It's a Spanish speaking class. I don't speak Spanish. So I just assumed that he knew he was going to lead it. And he killed it. Yeah. He didn't do it exactly like me. I don't want to do the way he did it. And then we jumped in and Chris and I'd help. And it was magical because, again, he's younger than me. I need that youthful outlook. And you know what? Even when you're good at something, you're a master. I think I'm one of the best in the industry, right? I'm not the best. I'm one of them. There's a lot more that I can learn from all these guys. So some of the things he picked up in training, you guys are getting it today, right? The changes. So don't be afraid to adapt to that. So, hey, moving on. So let's talk, here we are. We're competitors. Right? Kind of. I represent multiple brands. I represent the industry at whole, right? I want to be a good brand rep.
You look around this place, I'm amazed.
Look at it. I mean, it's just
this is Switzerland.
I love it. It is.
Yeah.
And it's we hope to have a stinger one day up here, eventually. It'd be a lot of fun. We can do them all over the place, but we'd like to have one here eventually. But you go through and here we are competing. But I can tell you, we all help each other. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these brands, there's some that are a little more self-absorbed that they'll help, but they have to have purpose. And if the purpose doesn't serve them 100%, they're not totally in.
With them.
What's that?
With them. What's in it for me?
Yeah. What's in it for me? And so even though some of those brands, God, Macy,
I know, like every once in a while, that ball out of the ballpark. I mean, it's not often, let's face it, but I mean, every once in a while.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
But when I do, I come direct.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, he shoots it pretty hard. So I learn green crayons.
Yeah,
green crayons. Right. I mean, just to feed it to it constantly. Just have a bowl full.
Little did he know, we talked last night. We were just
exactly.
He's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're it, man.
Well, I melted a crayon into his coffee this morning, so he got some melted crayon into it. So he's real brilliant. But it's you look at all of what we do, and you look at all of these. So Dan mentioned you're here. I won't say every training for a couple of days. You guys are going to see it today. When he jumps in and these guys jump in, because you're going to have a class with him on pads. I don't know about the foam like he does now. He knows a lot more than I do, right? Yeah. So when he teaches you, goes over that cabinet and goes over the different foams, I can't teach that. When he nerds out and starts talking about different things on the tools and stuff right now, and he goes over the key benefits and features of our tool, which blends over to all the tools, really, and it blends over to all the pads. That knowledge is knowledge. I just back away. I can't keep up with them. Yep. They're an expert in their field. And so we just let them go. But look at how collaboration happens. Now, how can it work with you guys? You guys, the best groups that come through this training, stay together.
Yeah.
They're talking on that app 4 years later. They're on the forum and stuff, but you back each other up for life. Then you're going to come into the Mafia and you're going to start. We're doing we're going down. We're doing a really cool event here next week. So we're going to be back on the road again. And again, I'm going to take that to your point, pleasure. I'm going to go see my dad. He's in New Mexico. So I'm going to take the opportunity, hopefully talk him into coming over to the project. He's an aircraft guy, right? And I just learned something about him not too long ago. I was talking to my uncle. My dad's a pilot, pretty advanced pilot, pretty damn good pilot. I knew that all growing up, right? My dad and I didn't grow up with him. I didn't know him until I was really in my almost 30, right? I just recently found out he never had a pilot's license.
Seems legit.
He just flew. And I'm like, how'd you get away with that? And he goes, when's the last time they pulled you over to check your license?
Drive it like you stole it.
But he
fly it like you stole it.
Well, and it's funny because I also found out because we had a coulee ranch down where I grew up from. And so we were down there with one of our friends and just me and him. And I told him that I just soloed in a plane like that, but bigger. And he goes, you're full of shit. I said, no, I'm not. He goes, you can't fly that plane. I said, yeah, I can. And he goes over there and he goes, start it up then and fly it. I said, okay. So I flew the plane. Never flown that. I never flown a 152 in my life. I basically stole the airplane. But I never landed on dirt before. And so I took off and it was cool. But now all of a sudden I see a truck pull up coming down the road, and it's the old farmer rancher, and he's coming to get his airplane. And I'm circling around checking out this field on how I'm going to land it. Now I'm like 15. I didn't have my license yet. I didn't have either license. I didn't have a driving license, and I didn't have a pilot's license. Right. So I landed, and this dude is, as you can imagine, not happy. So we go into explanation mode. Well, my friend bailed. He's gone. He fucking left. I mean, he's gone. You know, I mean, he was nowhere to be found. Right. So I'm sitting there, and I mentioned Art Scholl as I was working with Art Scholl. I was cleaning airplanes. He goes, "How do you know Art Scholl?" So I told him I work out at his FBO, and I clean and detail airplanes in exchange for flight time. He goes, Art and I are good friends. So if you're lying, you're in trouble. And he goes, "You said you clean planes?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, you move, and I'll find you. You stay right here." Comes back about 15 minutes later. He's got a bucket, bunch of cleaning products in it.
Clean my plane.
And he goes, "You want to pay for that flight you just did?" And he says, "So I did." Yeah. And he says, "Well, here's the thing. You're either going to have the cops called, Art called, or you're going to do a good job." And I came back, and it was just about night. It was dark. And he walked around that plane. He goes, "Good job. Anytime you want to come fly, let me know. We'll go fly. This time, don't steal my plane." Well, my dad did the same thing. Never do it. He stole the plane. And that's what got. But he kept stealing them. He kept going. And so I didn't. So you can't. I was left unsupervised. That's all I'm going to tell you. I was left unsupervised. Right? We got to love something fun that we're going to be doing. So if you look at the investment, travel, expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just talking. I mean, how many miles you put on the vehicle? Mm-hmm. And really, at some point, we got to slow it down. I mean, because you got to get to reality. How much travel is needed, and then expense. Like hotels, diner. I'm talking. It used to be for a couple $100 you get a nice hotel room. Now, no way.
Yeah,
it's kind of mid grade at best for $180, $200 a night. You know. And so those events, we do all the big events. We do training centers. I mean, to build this, you're looking at $1 million investment right here. I mean, probably more with the building now, probably more because there's $300,000+ of equipment here.
Yeah. My boss asked me how much equipment was in our training center. I said, "You don't want to know."
Don't want to know.
Yeah. You don't want to know the dollar amount.
You don't want to know.
Got a whole wall full of buffers and everything else in there. So tables and chairs alone, it's amazing how much you can spend on that.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
It's crazy.
Cabinets, thousands. You look at all this. So, face-to-face events worldwide. Let me tell you, social media is advertising. Okay.
Yeah.
Face-to-face events are marketing and relationship building. That's expensive though, because we get out in Hawaii with 60 people. We connected with 60 people. But you look at the cost that was put into that, that's several $100 a person. But those relationships are now lifetime. They're lifetime. And so, all these different companies, when you look at a product cost, and if you want to look at the quality of a company, what are they putting back into the industry? Do they have a training center? We've invested heavily. We invest back into detailers. These guys, Mafia's going to be back in New York this fall, for a private event. Dynabrae's investing a fortune into making sure we get back there, right? We're investing a fortune to make sure we get there. Our brand's very hard to connect. We're all about connecting and supporting the industry, and cool things. We've got products. You guys are sending some stuff down. PNS is sending stuff down. Buff and Shine's got investments. We got all these industry partners for our project down at Air Museum, next week in New Mexico. They're sending stuff. They're investing constantly. So it's you got to look at who you're buying from and what they're doing for the industry. If it's just about me and they're taking withdrawals out of the industry all the time and they're not putting any deposits back in, then I got to take and question that company. But there's very few of those anymore. Very few of those.
We spend a lot of money, but we do it because we want to help the industry.
Mm-hmm.
We want to elevate everybody to that level, and if we're part of that, that's a good feeling. That's, to me, that's more rewarding than anything else. If I sold $50 million in chemicals next year, that would be great for my paycheck, but I guarantee I wouldn't be involved in the training center. I wouldn't be headed out to do things with these guys. It wouldn't be near as much fun, because the fun comes from talking to the people, meeting the people.
Unreal.
That's, I complain about trade shows, but I'll tell you what, when I walk away from those trade shows and I've got all these relationships developed, it's a cool feeling. So SEMA's tough. It's 14 hours a day on your feet, but it's rewarding to meet all the people and talk to people. And I learn a lot. I learn from from everybody else. I'm not
Absolutely.
the smart guy. I'm the guy that probably knows. I started out in this industry working for a company that Wizards Mist and Shine. That was the first company I worked for, RJ Star. And John said, "You don't know anything." He goes, "That's great." He goes, "Because I can take you and I can teach you because you have no preconceived notions." And that's the cool part about our industry. And you're right. If manufacturers are willing to put that back into the industry, those are the people you want to support, you know, because they're going to continue to do that. The companies that don't do that, they're not going to change and all of a sudden do that. They're just doing what they're doing.
Listen, I can open up the Rolodex right now, and I know if we had a big need, an important need, I know who I could go to in this industry, and it wouldn't even be a question. They'd just say how much. And that is, the people don't see that. They don't see the backside of that, of how much, like our party we put on at SEMA, man. That's probably going to approach, I don't know, Chris, would it be at one time here real quick, probably a 6-figure party to host, you know?
Well, I certainly hope not. but
it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And and the industry just keeps supporting it more and more. 600 plus detailers there, but we've got to put out of pocket way before we get any sponsorship. Tens of thousands. We're going to be doing it here in just weeks. We're working on that already. It's already on all of our hit lists. We've got a program we use for tasking, and that, I mean, it just alone. I mean, our time into it. Oscar, how many hours you got into pre-planning and then at the event?
It don't stop. Between AFO applications, new members, Warbird, detailing, we got the stuff in May, the leadership course.
Yeah, you came into our training center for 2 days.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it's nonstop.
It's an investment, it's a commitment, but that's what we want to do, and that's what the fun comes from the job.
Matt is even so. Here we got Matt up at Air Force One, right? This year, we got a whole different task for you. You're gonna love this.
Great.
But he takes all these specialty tools that we don't even know about that Dynabraid's got, all these air tools and now electric tools, and he brings it in, and he's doing things to these priceless heirloom aircraft, priceless, and he's bringing it back to the original look because of the tools that he's got that we don't even know it was there. And so, for instance, the leading edge, we didn't want to just polish those out because it was never done that way. So he comes in and figures out to put kind of a shine, but a machine finish. That's what it had. And we had one of the original pilots from this year. Okay. That came in, and one of the specific things, I don't even know if I ever told you this. One thing goes, how are you getting that leading edge that way? But it takes years to get it that way. But now Matt's sitting there and spending all the time and geeking out on it. He figures out the system, and then he teaches you how to do it, and it's a lot of work.
Never hurt,
so now on projects, Matt's kind of we put him on a project, and then we bring it over. It's not simple. You got to have, it's a craftsmanship level that takes a lot of practice, and you can't put just anybody on there. Right. So now he's teaching a whole new generation, and that's going to come down through after him and I are gone. Because we got some years on Oscar. And that now Oscar's going to teach that and just feed it right down through the generations, and it's not, I mean, who else has that too? It's hard to get, it's taken a lifetime to build these relationships up. Don't compare yourself to me. If you're 25 or 30 or 40 years old, is that, who was saying, one of you guys said that was the year I was born. When I said we started something, I think it was either last night or today. And he said, "God dang, that was the year I was born." And I've spent a whole lifetime of your career building up this Rolodex. And so don't look at me and try to compare it. Look at me and try to get mentored and coached to get there. You're going to get there. But we've been honest. Whole different topic. I'll keep myself on point. So now let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do we see in the industry that you like? And we'll keep it short. We'll sniper this. I like that you said that. Sniper it. Good, the bad, the ugly. So Oscar, let's start with you this time. Good, bad, the ugly. He knew it.
The good, the unity. Everyone come together.
Unity.
I see all the trainings. Detailers of the roundtable are doing a great thing, teaming up with a lot of manufacturers. Everyone teams up here. Everyone is teaming up and helping each other out to get back to the detailers.
Yeah,
that's what I like. That's the good. And
what do you see that's not like it's kind of yucky?
Everyone's trying to be a trainer.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to a training class. They'll go to a one-day stinger, and then the next week they're handing out certificates out of the garage.
Oscar brings it attention. We had a guy. Yeah, right. We had a guy come to our extreme one day, and 2 weeks later he's putting on his own trainings, and literally he'd only been detailing for like 2 years. Now he's a trainer. And I mean, good for you, but what are you giving? What's value? I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. The people that are paying for it is where I'm going to blame it, because, who are you going to take direction from? I mean, somebody that's going to get through the hardships and knows how to do it, and the survivability, or, I mean, nothing against the guy, but he hasn't survived anything, I mean, nothing. He just doesn't. Our generation of detailers is we've survived a lot. You guys don't have any clue, and this will go back probably even a little bit. Oscar's a little young for this, but we used to go through about every 5 years, maybe not even that, maybe 4 years, a big economic change. We'd have hiccups every 3 to 5 years, and we'd have something, tech bubbles. We had housing crashes. We had interest rates. We had gas price, all these different things that would really slow the economy down. We really haven't had that in a decade. I mean, more than a decade now. I mean, really, we've been on a rebuild since 2011, I would say, and it hasn't slowed down. In my lifetime, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good years, and a lot of it has been just because. So our industry is funny, because if you think about these cars, whether they turn to boats, flying machines, they're always going to need to be cleaned. Yep. So we're always going to have an opportunity to do our jobs. It just changes, and that makes a difference. So what's ugly besides
trainers?
No, I mean, it's just I just see it a lot, and then traveling a lot. I see it. They'll come up after we do a training, and I'm not a trainer for Buff and Shine. We have Justin for that, and I'll throw Justin under the bus all day for that. Well, you want to train with Buff and Shine? Call Justin. You know what I'm saying?
And
I stay in my lane. I do sales.
There's another example. There's a guy that's been at it for, now he's I've known him for almost 10 years, right at the 10-year mark. So he's got some years up there. But when I met him, he was doing good. And we, again, I'm not responsible for success. All I did was throw some. It's like a coach that coaches a winning Super Bowl team. The coach is only one part of the team, right? Yeah. Is the team, the guys on the field went out and did the hard work, and Justin did the hard work. But here's the thing: is we have a thing that we say here. We're going to make a lot of suggestions this week. You're going to make the decisions, and Justin has always made strong decisions off the intel he's gotten out from a very small pool of coaches and mentors. And so he's a great guy, and all the way now that he didn't own a house when we met him, and I think he's got a couple. He owns the shop that he's on, plus I think an acre on the backside of it. He owns the business. I mean, his shop is 1,500 square feet bigger than this one. He's got staff. He's very protective. If you go to him and say, "Hey, I've got a chance for an event, next quarter," and he's got something planned with his family, he ain't canceling it. He set his hard boundaries. He's got a great life, but that took time. It took time. So good, bad, ugly. What do you say?
So good. I think that as the trainings have progressed, we started talking about making money, and we started talking about how to run your business more efficiently. We talk a lot about tools, profitability, cost savings, productivity, process, all those things. So this man taught me a lot one day about 2 years ago. We were doing a open house. And he started, we're doing this. I do my process procedure. Here's my, pitch. Here's my chemicals. Here's this. And it's the same thing I've been doing forever. So I get used to doing it. He stands up. He says, "Hey, let's talk about money." And everybody in that room, there's 60 people in that room. They all sat up and their eyes opened up. And first I thought, man, I suck at my job. First off. Secondly, he hit the nail on the head as, what are you guys coming here for? You're not coming here because granted, Renny's a lot of fun, but you're coming here because you want to make a better living. So there's a lot going on right now with these trainings talking about how do you make more money? How do you cut costs? Where can you make your business more successful economically? That's a big part of this, because let's face it, I want a shirt that says I get up every day to go to work, because that's what I do. I don't do it. If I bought a fishing kayak, my daughter's like, "Why'd you buy that? You're never home." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a good point." But when I am home, I'm going to get to use that. That's a reward of working hard. So the good in the industry right now is I think we've changed these trainings to, okay, we're going to show you how to do it, but we're also going to show you why it makes sense and what it does for you beneficially down the line. So the bad. I would agree. You know, one of the people in the industry that I really enjoy, and I'm not going to say his name, said, you know, he goes, YouTube certified. Mm-hmm. And I love that because I'm at a trade show and I get frustrated because I have a 17-year-old kid walk up and I'm buffing our hood doing a demo. And he's like, you know, if you turn that buffer up a quarter of a speed, you'd get a lot better results. And I'm like, how old are you? 17. And I'm like, okay. I'm at that point in time, you know, 48, 49 years old when I came on board with Stinger. And I'm like, you know what? I respect your opinion, but I'll tell you right now, if you're 17 and you're telling people who have this kind of experience how to do something, you're on a path for failure. That's disastrous. You got to open your mind, and you don't have to listen to what we say. I love that. We're suggesting, you're deciding. I love that. I'm going to steal that one from you. So I'm going to steal that because that's a great way of saying, you know, we can show you, but we can't make you do it a certain way. But if you come here and take 50% of it away and make your business better, that's a huge jump for you guys. So I would say the same thing. There's a lot of people out there telling you this is the only way to do it, or this is how I do it and I've perfected it. Do research on them. You know, look at their history in the industry, look at what they're doing. Social media, man, you can find out everything about someone nowadays. Look at that. If you're going to invest your time and money, this is a great opportunity. Our training center is a great opportunity. I've got a lot of experience. This guy says he's a salesman, not a trainer. I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a trainer. Yeah, hell of a trainer. So we'll leave the cousin thing out of that. But anyways, but that's the bad. So the ugly.
You don't have a cousin, do you?
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Okay.
Sasquatch,
Yeah.
You mean your wife, right?
Huh? Yeah. Hold on. Wait, watch it. Watch it. Yeah. Ouch. Shots fired. Jesus.
See the guys.
Okay, I'm gonna step back because they're a lot bigger than me. You know.
Just so you know, never stand on the ends.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the ugly is this: the situations we run into with these cars nowadays. They change so radically. The paint nowadays, you know, I'm telling people all the time now, use depth gauges more than you ever have in the past, because in the past you had a lot more paint to work with. Interiors, you know, one of our most popular classes is advanced interior cleaning.
Yep.
Because, and this is funny because everybody wants to buff paint because it's glamorous. In my opinion, it looks cool on social media. It's a skill, it's an art form, but guess where the customer spends 99% of their time? Inside the car. So why is that important? Because they walk up to the car, shiny, looks great in a parking lot. Stains that come back inside are a problem. So the ugly of our business is, why do you come to these things? Because you need to keep up with all the new modern products, new technologies, tools. We talk about tools. You know, your tools are his tools, my tools, his tools. You know, they're buffing pads, they're chemicals, they're tools that make that buffing pad go round, and the chemical that goes on it to lubricate and polish that surface. But this job is going to get harder as these cars. I swear, manufacturers sit up at night and drink brandy and try and figure out how to make the cars harder to clean.
Yeah,
I guarantee.
Hey, let's put trunk liner shit carpet in the whole car now.
Right.
You know, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That way you can't get stains out, you can't get hair out, and it falls to pieces in 3 years.
Yeah. If you use the wrong tool on it, you blow it off, then all of a sudden it's coming off the floor, coming off the headliner. So the ugly part of this business is you got to keep up with these things, and you got to keep going to these classes. You got to keep going to these training centers, because as these things change, you get a car in your shop that you've never done anything with in a certain type of fabric. My daughter has a Subaru that has PVC seats. Now, this might be the greatest idea in the whole entire industry, because PVC just take a wet cloth and wipe them down, but she still manages to destroy it with the dog and her camping and everything else. So it's not like it's the end all answer to everything. You still got to clean it. But I looked at it and I'm like, what's
pretty
that?
Cool.
Yeah. I'm like, what's that? And I look it up. I'm like, oh, PVC seats. That makes a lot of sense. I get in her car 2 weeks later. I'm like, well, it seemed like a good idea. It still gets messy. So that's the ugly of the industry, but there's solutions for that. You know?
Absolutely. There's a solution for every ugly. There's a solution. Yeah. It's going to be up to you.
And you're not going to, let's face it, as the paint gets thinner and the interiors get harder to clean, you got one of two options: either learn how to do it or go, I'm going to go do something else. Those are the only two options you got. So
and I've said this 100 times. You know, I hear people at SEMA and Mobile Tech constantly. We've all heard this. I don't do interiors. I just send it. I let competitors in my market, do the interiors. I'm like, I had a young guy say that to me one day, and I said, do you know what happens to you if I'm in your market, you send that customer to me, say adios. You're never getting him back. because I'm so positive of our customer service and our constant contact and the way that we treat customers and our culture is you already have that attitude and you're willing to take and send money out. I'm gonna tear you a new butthole.
Yep.
Is that you're not gonna know what hit you. And he just kind of sat there and was like, whoa,
20 years ago, detail shops would start up and I'd go out and sell them chemical. And they'd say, well, how do I get going? I'm like, do your neighbor's car. Grab somebody's car that do a great job on it, because I'm a garage guy. Like the only reason I have a house is because I have a garage. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a house for as much as I travel. I want to go on Friday night, open up a cold beer, sit out in my garage. The neighbors come over. If you have a car that you did and the neighbor sees it, oh man, your car looks great. That's instant business for you. You can spend thousands on advertising that results in nothing but that word of mouth that you get. But that word of mouth only comes if the job is perfect. That's what it's got to be.
You guys just heard that. Advertising versus marketing versus relationships. That's what we've been talking. So, all right, good, bad, ugly. What do you think?
Good is technology is always changing.
Oh,
companies have to change with the technology.
Amen.
All the time. So that means we need feedback from everybody.
Yep.
So everybody basically out here is an asset to a company. Because if you think about it, your input into whatever product is being developed or tool or whatever it is extremely important, because that makes the manufacturer either get it done right, better, or make the corrections that they need to make. So that's extremely important. But that builds a collaboration, like we talked about, builds a bond, a relationship between us, the customer, the companies that we represent. Competition is good. It makes us all better. Okay. But the thing is, if you have to talk smack about somebody else's product or somebody else's detailing business,
amen,
that's opening you up for criticism, because you are lacking deficiency yourself.
Yep.
If you got to point it out on somebody else,
focus your
energy. Pass it on. Pass positive information. Pass positive education on. Pass it on. By us passing on, all we're going to do is get better.
It cracks. That's great, because you know what? It cracks me up is you got these guys that are and gals that are openly going after being a sponsored detailer, which
we get it all the time.
Yeah. And that's a whole other podcast, but they go after it, or they want to be a brand rep. And then all they're doing is going out there and talking shit about different brands. And I'm like, you're never going to get hired. Nobody's going to touch you, because you can't. You got to be Switzerland. Even if you don't, I was asked a couple months ago, and I don't really get into the forums. I just don't dig, right? And they said, hey, what do you think of this product? And I said, I like everything. It's got its purpose somewhere. It might not be my chosen product, but somewhere out there, somebody loves it.
Yep.
And so take the high road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what you've seen so much of it too is do it, learn your art. You can become, listen, estimate. I don't know if we should say this or not. How many millionaires in the group right now?
Yep.
Over 20. Over 20. If you want to get wealthy quick, man, go do something else. This is not going to be the industry for you. If you need an instant $200,000 a year, not the industry for you. You got to go do something different. But if you want to take and be able to get to that point and make a six-figure income, it's doable, but it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take some time. If you want a lifestyle business where you make a solid income, something that you go out and do in a career, but you can adjust your schedule and kind of live and build the life you want, this is an absolutely fantastic industry for that. But it's not a get rich quick, not going to happen.
But think about it, Renny. Every industry is like that.
It is.
You have journeyman programs.
Right.
Those guys aren't journeymen right from the get-go.
Yeah.
They're starting from digging a ditch.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It takes them 5 years, 3 to 5 years to get to that point of being a journeyman.
Yeah.
It takes time. It doesn't matter what industry it is. It takes time. This instant stardom is a fantasy.
Yep.
It's a fantasy.
You got it. You're a former cop, right?
Yeah.
You got it in the drug world, selling drugs. Is small time players. Is they'll say, hey, this guy's pretty small time. He's starting out. Even selling drugs, you got to start at the bottom.
Yep.
You do. You're in the Marine. You're in the Marine Corps. You didn't start up here where you ended. You started down at the bottom. And you got to work your way up. Yeah. That's the same thing. And let me tell you, this is a message to people that are coming in the industry from another industry. Your authority doesn't transfer over. It just doesn't.
No.
Now you could probably get to an authoritative position a little quicker, but you still got to go earn that. You still got to. And I tell this story all the time. I remember when I got on my horse 2.5 years ago for the first time and was taking lessons, is that I'm an instructor on everything I do. I'm top of my game at, right? And everything I can do, I can teach. Not when I got that horse. I didn't know shit. I mean, every horse I'd rode was an older, trained, well-trained horse that just taught me. My horse is a young, big horse that's strong-minded and wants to do his shit. And he wants to go back and eat because he's big. And we had a little bit of a conflict. And I had to get off my horse, take a knee, pray to God above, and ask God to humble me in front of my instructor. I said, I know nothing. I turned around to her. I said, I know nothing. I'm a canvas. Make me a good rider. And I shut the up because I don't know shit.
And the wrap up to that's so important is that there is no get rich quick scheme in this business. When I get these people contact us, say, if you give me chemicals, I'll go out there and push it. I'm like, well, you know what? That's what we do as a corporation anyway.
I've got reps for that.
But I asked them, why do you want to do that? And they're like, well, I don't want to detail cars. I'd rather do what you do. And I'm like, well, first off, you may not want to do what I do for sure, because you don't want to be gone 267 nights from your home. But the other side of that is that's saying I don't want to work. I figure there's an easier way to get rich. And it's not, that just doesn't work that way. So hard work. I mean, I did not get to the position I'm in by sitting home and working 4 hours a day. It's not like that, but it's fun. And this business is great because one of the things, I have a friend he's a rep for physicians, and he says, I hate dealing with doctors. He goes, you get to deal with people all day long. They're just regular people. And I'm like, I do. And I love the people I deal with. It's awesome.
I've got a really good friend, a couple of good friends that are doctors, and they're really, we had a guy a couple of years back that was an attorney for a Fortune 50 company, and he hated his job. He was in the seats you guys are because he loved cars and he wanted to love what he did. Here's a guy that's I can't imagine what he made. Probably $500,000 a year, and he hates it. Golden handcuffs. So, okay, we're going to exit out of here. Anything cool coming up? So you're going down the project. So you're going to come down with us. So you're on the Warbirds. So we're going to, top level freaking unreal. We got Air Force One coming up in July. We've got, there's so many cool things. We got the Warbird project coming up. I'm going to take them on the way to Air Force One. I now overland all the way up there, do 2 nights somewhere, and sometimes in the middle of the desert. And then on the way back, I just take 10 days and disappear. The only thing I got this year, I am going to buy a sat phone just because Diane was like, I decided to stay a couple days in the middle of nowhere. I kind of need to tell her that. Right. And so we're coming back to Hawaii. We got a lot of 1 days all over the country in our 1 day trainings. We're doing projects all over here. What do you got going on? Anything fun?
So we're actually with the Stinger line.
Yep.
We're actually starting to bottle right now small packaging. So a lot of detail shops ask me, hey, my customer wants to use this scent or this tire dressing. How do I make money off that? Well, this is your opportunity to do that. It's another revenue stream.
There you go.
But that's going to be under the Stinger line, just like what you see over there. And it's just another opportunity for you to add $15, $20, $25 onto that detail, because let's face it, that's how you make money in this industry, add-ons. So
that's fun. Yep. Oscar,
what do I got going on?
Yeah.
Well, you just released like 50 pads.
Warbird, so. Obviously the edge guards, Buff and Shine side of the house. We got 3-inch edge guard, 6-inch edge guard, which I'm driving all around all SoCal this week with Dan, dropping those off to all the storefronts so we can send the new packaging is out. Rich always has something underneath, that's coming out, which I can't talk about. But as far as the group goes wise, I'll be out there in El Paso, Texas. I've already hit up a couple stores in that area that I'll be visiting. Any detailers that want to come out and check us out while we're working, feel free to show up to the museum and watch us out there. We're all about networking.
That's it.
To the 19 members that are going, I'll see you guys Wednesday night or Thursday morning.
Unreal. It's right around the corner.
It is.
It's right around the corner. And then on the PNS side, we've got a brand new paint correction product. We're going to be highlighting it today. You'll see some post up. Amazing product. We've been kind of weak on that side for a while. This is something that Dave brewed up. We got 2 more. This is underneath the PNS professional side. It's a great product. You guys are going to use it today. And then we've got 2 new products coming out in the double black side for paint correction. We're testing right now. So we don't know exactly when, because you can't look in your crystal ball and determine how it's going to work.
It's right? a lot harder making chemicals than everybody thinks it is.
It is. It takes a lot of time. We got a lot of chemicals in here. That whole back wall over there is test chemicals, and it just takes forever, to get through it. And then Dynabrade, we're working on release, the DB8 hard big release that it's going to come out. We're just making sure that everything's checked off and going through the list, and it's been a lot of fun. So, hey, Chris. Hey, we got our 200th. You're going to partake in this. Our 200th podcast is coming up, and so we've got a lot of special guests coming on. We've got Oscar's going to come on. We're going to get you and talking about our relationship, with Dynabraid building up. My wife's going to come on and talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't see, and we're going to probably get Kevin Davis to come in. He doesn't even. Sorry, Kevin. Hey, can you do me a favor? I haven't sent this to you, but we want to see if you'll kind of be the MC. But I think I'm going to bring a couple. Even Chris hasn't heard this. We're going to bring a childhood friend of mine on, and we're going to talk about my journey to where I am right now and what the realities are. Because a lot of people just think I was born here. You just got here, and it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. And so it's a really important one to me, and it's not about me. It's about you guys getting to where you want to be. It's not necessarily to the top. It's to the top of your life. Everybody thinks that you got to be to the top, but the top of what? What's your why? What's your what? Because I can tell you is that it can be lonely at the top. Everybody's got an angle a lot of times, right? And you get your buttons pushed, you get your teeth knocked out, and if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't. And we'll share a little bit more of what I would have done. I would have been a regular shop, a regular guy, living a normal life, out of the limelight, and just worried about having fun. There's a message. Have I enjoyed it? Do I enjoy being here? I'm blessed, but it was not the easiest of roads. And it's a lot of them were unpaved and uncrossed. Nobody had ever gone there before. Nobody. And so, coming up that way, we're going to talk about that on that 200th episode. And it's really a gift to anybody that's in business. That's hopefully people that have got the wrong idea. We've talked about some of those wrong ideas today, is that they're going to be able to kind of relate to it and then hear my background, where it came. Even the relationship here with Oscar, with Chris. Chris and I, a lot of people don't know, started out, he was a student at an event down in Orange County. What was that now? Chris, how many years ago was that? That was 13?
2013, yep.
Yeah. So, it's been a long time that our relationship's taken to get here. Oscar came here as a student, and slowly it's brewed into something else, and it's just keeps manipulating itself. All the relationships with Chris does. First time we've had you here is when I met Bob from PNS. It manipulated itself. Going over to Germany and meeting Sonex, it grew. And so it's really going to be a special time. Reward. Hey, Chris, did anybody figure out what our little special cheesecloth and cornstarch?
I didn't have a ton of responses, but let's
read through and see if we got any of them.
Somebody said, let's see, where'd it go? Oh, crud. Somebody said polishing metal.
That's close.
Who was? Yep.
That's close.
Yep. Watch that one.
I'm trying to find them all. Where'd they go?
Was it polishing metal?
We've had a lot of responses on here.
Read some.
Somebody said polishing tailpipes, which is polishing metal, right?
Yeah, close.
Crud, where did it all go?
We're old.
You guys,
so we'll get the answer to that.
Are you guys going to share what it actually was?
Yeah, we're going to. So that first one that said metal, I'll give it to them. It's close enough. Yeah. When you're polishing metal, especially diamond plate or real sensitive aluminum, how we got the products were a little different back then. They're hard to get off sometimes.
Rouge.
And so, so Rouge and other products.
Yeah, here it was. Rick Smith said polishing aluminum. Jerry Grant said polishing tailpipes. And,
I'll tell you, collect all those. I'm going to send them something special. Chris, you'll package it while you're here this week. So make it a list because all those people are on it, and we'll send it to all those three that you just mentioned. How's that?
All right.
How's that? So what it is we used to do it as on aircraft is you take the cheesecloth, you put the cornstarch on it, you'd wipe over, and it would remove all the excess polish residue, the black. tarnish, right? Is that we didn't talk about this? So
previous to that, and even that, you take the cheesecloth, wrap it up in a ball, and you just do it across the paint because that's what you were using. That was before polishes and compounds got advanced, because you guys have it with the technology you guys have, man, you got it a lot easier than the old days. Right. Now, luckily for us, the paint was different back then. You could beat the hell out of it forever and ever and ever. Can't do that anymore.
No.
So it was used in a lot of different ways, but that was because there wasn't the technology that you guys have out there now. So you're fortunate to come into the era that you got good products, but you got really tough cards to buff.
So now, if you guys are polishing diamond plate, if you want a modern version of that, you should take a decent, cheap microfiber and you put some cornstarch on it and you go over the diamond plate, and that will pull all the residue off all the tight little areas, and it will remove it a little faster. So it's still usable. Little test. So that was awesome. You brought that up. So, well, hey, good job. Make a list of those. We'll send you out something. That was a good shot at it all. So, Matt, thanks, bud. It's always good.
Oh, thanks, Renny.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. All right, man. Guys, we're out of here. Chris, thanks for making this happen. This has been really fun. We went a little long, but wow, this is cool. All right, guys, we're out of here. Happy detailing all.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Renny Doyle Podcast, brought to you by Detailing Success and PNS Double Black. Listen to new episodes weekly, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to share with your friends and colleagues.